From the All Indiana Podcast Network.
The All Indiana Podcast Network.
This is the News 8 Daily 8.
Now all the latest news.
Kylie Conway has all the news you need to know.
And more.
Please stand by.
Now, here's Wish TV's Kylie Conway.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is the News 8 Daily 8 for Wednesday, January 13th. A beautiful January day in store. Plenty of sunshine with highs reaching the mid-40s. Today, big news and a largely symbolic vote. The House did approve a resolution overnight calling for Vice President Mike Pence to invoke the 25th Amendment to remove President Trump from power. The amendment says he is unfit for office after inciting the insurrection last week on Capitol Hill.
The president must be removed from office immediately. This is a decision we make with the utmost solemnity and prayerfulness which this crisis requires.
Only one Republican voted in favor of the resolution, Congressman Adam Kinzinger of Illinois. The vice president sent a letter to House Speaker Nancy Pelosi last night. Part of it read, "I do not believe that such course of action is in the best interests of our nation or consistent with our Constitution." Okay, so this now sets up an impeachment vote in the House this morning. Rioters breached some of the most secure areas of the Capitol a week ago today. We now know who will lead that impeachment push. The House Speaker, Nancy Pelosi, of course, announced which Democrats will serve as impeachment managers. The representatives are tasked with presenting a case to the Senate during an impeachment trial. Here are a few of them. Maryland Congressman Jamie Raskin will serve as lead manager. And this morning, a small but increasing number of House Republicans are breaking ranks. Representatives John Katko, Adam Kinzinger, who I just mentioned briefly a moment ago, Fred Upton, and Liz Cheney say they will all vote in favor. Cheney's decision carries extra weight. She's very influential as the third-ranking Republican in the House. She released a blunt assessment of the situation, saying, quote, "The President of the United States summoned this mob, assembled the mob, and lit the flame of this attack. Everything that followed was his doing." Trump addressed the topic Tuesday in his first live public comments since the violence.
The impeachment hoax is a continuation of the greatest and most vicious witch hunt in the history of our country and is causing tremendous anger and division and pain, far greater than most people will ever understand, which is very dangerous for the USA, especially at this very tender time.
Democrats appear unified going into this morning's vote, adding in the Republicans who also plan to vote yes. An unprecedented second impeachment of the president is on course for a quick approval. With Inauguration Day and a change of administration just 1 week away, there's much uncertainty about how this impeachment process could unfold. So News 8's Angelique Hockaday, she spoke to a local expert to ask him if there was even enough time left to finish this impeachment process. He told her yes. Dr. Greg Schufelt is a political science professor at Butler University. He points out that, yes, the president must be in office to be impeached. He also says there's a big difference between getting impeached today by the House and then getting convicted by the Senate. It is going to pass the House, but in order for it to get through the Senate for that conviction, there needs to be a 2/3 majority vote. Democrats are hoping this happens because it's the only way Trump would be barred from holding a public federal office ever again. There is also the historical significance, which Democrats and a growing number of Republicans consider important, giving the impeachment as a response to the attack on the U.S. Capitol last week. Today, President Trump will face one count of incitement of insurrection. Now we're waiting to see when those articles of impeachment will actually be sent to the Senate. With the Senate in recess, the earliest a trial could begin is January 20th, unless all 100 senators agree to start sooner. There is also the scenario that Democrats have hinted toward they might do, that they may wait to send those articles so the Senate has time to work on President-elect Joe Biden's agenda. Dr. Schufelt says that plan B here, is not foolproof.
Even when Democrats assume the majority of the Senate, they don't necessarily have the votes just with Democrats to do it. They still need some Republicans in order to convict the president.
There is also speculation that the president might try to pardon people around him, possibly even himself. Dr. Schufelt says constitutional scholars continue to debate if a pardon is something that you can do for yourself or only to someone else. The president can certainly try, but that's ultimately a decision to be left up to the Supreme Court if the court would want to hear it. And it does appear that one of Indiana's representatives received a direct threat during those riots. Federal investigators say someone may have been targeting Congressman Andre Carson. There was a handwritten note found with Carson's name on it. They're using this as evidence. Federal investigators say they found it in the suspect's truck, along with guns and homemade explosives. Investigators say that the suspect, 70-year-old Lonnie Kaufman, is seen in a photo from D.C. It was seen from January 6th. You can find that photo on wishtv.com. Then there is a red GMC Sierra that he was driving parked near the Republican National Headquarters. Federal investigators say that truck was packed with a fully loaded handgun, assault rifle, a shotgun, and hundreds of rounds of ammunition. They also found 11 mason jars with what they describe as homemade napalm. Then agents found that handwritten note with a quote, "We the people are the rightful masters of both the Congress and the courts." It goes on to list good guys and bad guys and specifically names Indiana Democrat Andre Carson. Then in parentheses says one of two Muslims in the House of Reps. In a statement to Wish TV, Carson calls the note extremely disturbing. He says the indicted terrorist had the means and opportunity to carry out his plans to violently attack, injure, and destroy government officials and related offices in our nation's capital. These were not idle threats. These were planned and organized measures to take my life, my colleagues' lives, and try to destroy our government. Carson says he was not in the House chamber when the Capitol was breached. Instead, he was in his office in another building. Now, Kaufman faces 17 federal charges related to weapons possession, although more charges are possible. Prosecutors are now asking that he is kept behind bars. New reporting suggests the most powerful Republican in Congress may also support impeachment. The New York Times and Axios report that Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell thinks the president committed impeachable offenses. According to the Times, McConnell told associates he's pleased that Democrats are moving to impeach Trump and that McConnell believes that impeaching Trump will make it easier to purge him from the party. History made in Terre Haute. The federal prison put Lisa Montgomery to death early this morning, the first federal execution of a woman in 7 decades. It happened soon after the Supreme Court lifted a stay that had prevented the execution one day earlier. Her attorneys argued that Montgomery has severe mental illness and should not be put to death. Montgomery was convicted of killing a pregnant woman and cutting out the baby to kidnap it. Here in Indianapolis, 5 people are dead in 4 separate shootings. The scenes spanned from the north to northeast sides of the city. The first shooting happened around 2:30 yesterday afternoon near Crown Hill. Police say a 32-year-old woman died. About a half hour later, police found a man shot in the New Bridge Apartments. That's on the northeast side of downtown in the Brightwood neighborhood. 60 years old, did not survive. The third deadly shooting happened in an apartment complex near 42nd and Post Road. A 28-year-old man died. A triple shooting near 38th and Arlington killed a man and a woman. Medics took a third person to the hospital in critical condition. Now to business headlines. Millions of Americans whose stimulus checks got caught up in an Internal Revenue Service issue should receive them early February if they haven't already. Tax preparation experts say that the IRS is working to fix a mistake that caused it to send millions of $600 coronavirus relief payments to closed or inactive bank accounts, forcing taxpayers to wait as the money bounced back to the feds. Meanwhile, the U.S. will require negative COVID tests for inbound international air travel. Starting January 26th, arriving travelers will have to test negative for COVID-19 within 3 days of their flight to the U.S. Kroger has suspended its political contributions to candidates in the wake of violence at the U.S. Capitol last week. Kroger's head of government relations says it's pausing PAC donations while they review the PAC giving philosophy. And, quote, "We plan to resume contributions once this assessment is completed." Kroger is among a growing number of companies to temporarily halt donations to all candidates. Those include American Airlines, Citigroup, JP Morgan Chase, Marriott, U.S. Bancorp, and at least a dozen others. We mentioned Lilly yesterday. Starbucks is starting a new fund aimed at investing in community development projects and small businesses. The fund aimed at investing in community development projects and small businesses in areas populated by Black, Indigenous, and people of color. Starbucks also said it would work to hire more minorities. Hulu is offering its basic streaming service to college students for $2 a month. It usually costs $6 a month. The service's library of TV and movies includes not only new and old network and cable shows, but also exclusives like The Handmaid's Tale and Palm Springs. The basic plan does include those ads. The Mega Millions jackpot keeps climbing. No one bought a ticket that matches all 6 numbers. 8 people did match 5 numbers, which is a $1 million prize. Not too bad. The estimated jackpot for Friday's drawing is $750 million. Finally, to sports, happy trails to Anthony Costanzo. After a 10-year career protecting Colts quarterbacks, he's retiring. The Colts drafted him in 2011, and he immediately became a starter. He struggled with injuries the past couple of seasons, but says that's not why he's hanging it up. In a farewell message Tuesday, the towering left tackle thanked everyone from fans and coaches to teammates, trainers, and general managers. And the Pacers snapped their 2-game losing streak, beating the Golden State Warriors last night. Center Miles Turner hit a big 3 with 3 minutes left in the game. He led the team in scoring with 22 points. The Blue and Gold held Steph Curry in check for most of the game without the help of guard Victor Oladipo, who sat out this game. Final score 104-95. The Pacers now head to Portland to play the Trailblazers tomorrow night. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway, online at wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
Check out more podcasts from the All Indiana Podcast Network now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.
allindianapodcastnetwork.com.